All right, there we have fresh recording. Okay, so first of all, thanks to Jan and Ryan for being on triage this week. Are there any volunteers for triage for next week?
I can be secondary. It's Keith.
Okay.
It's
yeah. Sorry, I was
case is secondary. Let me help you.
Keith here. 2 above Jan.
Yeah, I can.
Thanks. Sorry, I had some difficulties being able to log in with the correct user, and now I'm just keeping the configuration that worked.
Could you hear me? Okay,
sure.
good. Okay, cool.
Thanks, Pasha.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, I just couldn't
And
see
I
who
can
was...
be next one. I will be primary.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so are there any issues from triage that you want to talk about or bring up? Okay. All right. So I think that we will mention the top reviewers for this week. Ishita and Michael and Zach for Argo rollouts. And we have the top mergers, Ishita and Michael and Zach. So thank you. Thanks a lot. And let's see what we have for the agenda for today. Jason, is Jason here? Probably not. Okay. So let's look at the issue. Read secrets from disk as well as from environment. Is anyone familiar with this issue? Oh, see that Michael.
Yeah, just barely. Let's see. They don't want to put secrets in invars, which makes sense. That's generally a bad practice. They want it mounted to disk, which makes sense. The problem is I'm not sure whether we need to grant the repo server Kubernetes API access in order to mount those secrets to disk. If we do, that's a problem because repo server really shouldn't have that access. But if we don't, it's a simple manifests update.
Okay. So so then updating the manifest is would be acceptable for this?
As long as we don't have to change the repo server service account to grant Kubernetes access.
Yeah, you would probably just need for live reloading, right? To access to config map to API server. Just to like refresh secrets on just to refresh secrets on the fly. Like why would you need like API access in such case?
I'm actually just not sure how Kubernetes handles secret mounting, either into invars or onto disk. And I'm not sure whether we would need to do it. So if we did it in like an init container, I think that we would probably have to have Kubernetes API access. We'd have to like mount a token and then call the API to get the current value of the secret. If we just use like the built-in manifest secret ref,
yeah,
maybe that doesn't require like a service account with API access. I just don't know.
and today just taking from environment variables over golang os dot, right? I think. and just taking it from environment variables. Is this secret?
Correct, which isn't really best practice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are there additional tests that needs to be performed in order to decide whether we can go with the manifest approach?
I think at this point, they probably just need to open a PR that we can review with their desired approach, and then we can decide, okay, does this open any security risks? I'd be happy to have this as the default instead of using invars at all, as long as it doesn't grant access that we're uncomfortable with.
Okay. All right, so for now, going with manifest approach. Okay, thank you. Find, write, update, delete RBAC. Is Matt here? Okay, so see, there's been some discussion going on around this issue.
Yeah, I have a bit of context. So it's apparently about changing semantics of granting some permissions for update and delete for applications, not to application and all resources, but like separately for application itself and separately for its resources. I was arguing that maybe we shouldn't break backwards compatibility and like maybe just have another keyword like update app or something like that, or some alternative. Just generally, like I think we don't have to wait for version 3, and maybe this new keyword is not that bad, but I don't know. Like maybe it is harder to maintain than I think. Also tangentially related, there are a few more things. Like for example, I think disabling autosync requires update application permission right now, but it's much more broad. So maybe we also want to revisit and put like a special thing that you just update autosync field, and it's like a separate keyword. Yeah, what do you think?
So today,
Yeah, I'm looking at the comments, and I agree with Alex that I think we should remove this v3 from the code semantics. Shouldn't attach version in the code. That's my 2 cents for that specific PR.
so do we want to address it? Like, do we want to address it at v3, or we want to?
I don't know. Looks like there is no strong opinion. Can you hear me?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Just checking because it doesn't display on like Zoom icon for some reason that it's not mic is on. Okay. So yeah. Looks like it may be up to whoever drives implementation. But yeah, I guess if there are no strong objections to create new keywords for like more like specific permissions, I would prefer that approach.
The approach of new keywords?
Yeah, like update self, delete self, and maybe like just it, but it's another use case is like application update autosync. I don't know. Looks like nobody comments and like doesn't seem that there are like strong opinions. So yeah, maybe we can just go with new keywords then.
Is that acceptable, or anyone has other comments on that?
I don't think it's a matter of no one having strong opinion. Alex asked for changes in the PR, so there are some requirements still to be met here, and I suspect this is really lack of time to really look at this PR with more, yeah, have a more thorough review here. This deals with breaking change and V3 semantics, so it needs to be well reviewed and approved by the maintainers for sure.
Okay.
Probably something we can do offline.
Yes. Okay, thank you. GitOps engine pull requests. Is Jason here?
Yes.
Great. Hi, Jason.
Hi. These will fix up some GitHub actions on the GitOps engine repo. I know there's been talk for years to get this stuff merged into Argo CD.
Yeah.
It just hasn't happened. And there's some warnings and stuff. This will fix those up. These are all fundamental PRs. They're not any code changes. Leo did comment on the other one, but this one will just fix the GitHub actions, get them up to date, and get rid of any warnings because some changes have been happening regarding environment variables and how they're saved. So this is a
Right.
easy
Regarding
one.
the code owners, my comment is basically we should mirror the code owners from Argo CD repo. So the agreement from the past is that GitOps engine should have the exact same permissions that we have in Argo CD repo.
It can't match verbatim because of folder locations and code owners, but the top one. But the only concern I have on that is spam, because I just don't want to spam the Argo CD approvers. But there's 70 plus PRs here that have not been touched, so people need to get notified if a PR gets created, right?
Right.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I can change my other PR, the code owners PR, to match Argo CD. That makes sense.
Cool. Thank you.
And then this one, the GitHub Actions one, if anybody can approve, I think it's an easy one to win. And then the last one is a link in the README was pointing to the Kubernetes GitOps Slack. And I confirmed in our Slack that it should point to Argo CD contributors. So it's just a link change.
Oh, to the Slack channels.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll look at this.
Cool. These are all non-code changes, but I'll change the code as one, Leo. Thank you for the feedback.
And thank you for working on this. I'm approving the
Cool.
GitHub Actions one.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jason and Leo.
Just one annoying thing, as we merge those PRs, if there are code changes, we need to go and update the reference back in Argo CD repo. It doesn't seem like at least the GitHub Actions one has code changes.
No, these three don't. The one that did, where I updated Git, I did a backport to Argo CD, and that's already been merged. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, any code changes, I'm backporting to Argo CD.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next one is from Aaron Hoffman, add images to resource sync results.
Okay, yeah, that's me. Okay, so these are two PRs that address the same issue that is linked over there. And this is basically because in current Datadog, we want to use the webhooks that we receive from customers to be able to help them know what images are being deployed to a backend service. And I think this also applies to any notification like in Slack or whatever. But currently we receive an images array, and that's not enough because you can have an Argo CD application that deploys to multiple services. So idea was to have the images for each resource, and for those you can actually link them to services. So yeah.
Are there any comments on this? Or this is just a matter of reviewing the PR and...
Yes, I wanted to validate that this is something that you actually want to have, and yeah, also
the other maintainers, whether they're additional comments on this? Okay, so I think that we'll look at this PR later on. Thank you, Aaron. Oh, there is one. Oh, there are two actually. There's one in GitOps engine and a related one, right?
Yeah, the Argo C one is still in draft because it depends on the changes in GitOps engine.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you. Next is Guillaume. Am I pronouncing it correct? Is Guillaume here?
There was
No,
a
he
mention
doesn't.
that he cannot attend today, but maybe postponed to like December 19.
Okay, I don't see that there was a discussion here. So unless someone is familiar with this issue, we will carry on. Okay. Andrei.
Yeah, so there is some issue after updating to Ubuntu 24 as a base image. Some things don't work well with like FIPS environment. That's like TLDR. And there is support for FIPS, but it's gated by like essentially by a paywall. You need like some like pro or some enterprise version of Ubuntu to have that. Or alternatives discussed seem like they may include implementing our own like FIPS module. So then the question becomes, what do we want to do with the base image and how do we gonna go around supporting FIPS use cases? And tangentially related is, are we even gonna distribute like use images which say like FIPS enabled or FIPS approved, or it's just or it's not like something we can guarantee. And like I think in my use case I can actually go around. I can just maybe create a just simple rule in Docker file, call it like make image Ubuntu 22 and just set environment variable and like build an image like and deploy that. I think it's gonna be okay, but I think like if we can come up with some solution which works like for a community in general and can be reused by like people who like work with like GovCloud, that's gonna be great. So I wanna hear some thoughts about this.
Pasha, do you want to comment?
Thing is, I think to build with FIPS, it needs to be built on a FIPS enable. I mean, it has to be built on a host with FIPS enabled. So like a FIPS enabled kernel. I think that's kind of one of the issues if we're to support FIPS now with the new OpenSSL version. Because as I understand it, it's been a bump in OpenSSL 3. And with that, they basically, yeah, it basically does not work unless, so FIPS, it does not work without the FIPS algorithms being on the FIPS enabled host, basically. Or rather, it needs to have the FIPS module built in, which it does not by default. It's a mess. It's the TLDR. Maybe there's some alternative because ChainGuard has some base images which may, I mean, that would imply changing the base image though, so that's also kind of a messy way of going about it. But it's I don't know. I guess it depends how badly do people want FIPS, right? I mean, it's pretty niche. I mean, of course, it's an important use case, but it's niche as well, and no one has stepped up with this so far.
So from my experience working with GovCloud, seems like it's kind of a new niche that's coming up. Like it seems like multiple companies and multiple vendors are like already either just completed the certification processes or they are like just in the process of doing so. But yes, it looks like something we might want to address. Yeah, maybe like not today, but like my impression that it's just gonna be like a niche which is like non-trivial.
Yes, it feels like FIPS is always a bit complex to implement. Okay, so it seems that yeah, somebody
Okay,
wants to.
for now, is it okay if I just create a PR to add the just one command to make image with base Ubuntu 22 to make file, just for simplicity. And like we can agree on certain like Ubuntu 22 version which goes there, but defaults don't change.
The issue of like running old stuff. I mean, how much longer is Ubuntu 22 supported for?
Something like 2 years.
What about LTS, which is, I believe, 5 years?
I'm not sure, like if it's feet or at least I just don't know about like LTS specifically.
The last LTS version was 20, right? Or is that?
It's every 2 years they cut them. The 2204 probably.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so it's 22, yeah.
So we're currently on 24. Which version are we now?
Yeah, it's 24, but this whole thing started from 24 since they bumped OpenSSL, and this is when everything started. So we'd have to downgrade back to 22 if we were to, I guess, not fix it, but like make this less of an issue for FIPS users.
So is the decision for now to downgrade to 22 or
No, I think I'll probably just go ahead and submit a PR to like update make file just to make a build a little bit more convenient and just have hard-coded version of image we can use. But seems like Docker file already has an option to override base image. So yeah, and I don't think we need to change Docker file at all. And for my use case, I'll just try to use a custom build with like Ubuntu 22 as a base image. I'll validate with our like Fed team, but I think like well we are using the thing with like Ubuntu 22 base right now and like using upstream builds, like I think based on the mirror from like Quay.io. So I think it should be fine. Yeah.
okay.
I can just add a comment later that hey, let's revisit this like make command in a couple of years because like we may no longer like support Ubuntu 22 or something. Yeah, but it's like it's a workaround, but I don't know if you object about like having this like make command, that's okay. I can still work around that. It's just I think if we can say that in this issue that for FIPS users, hey, just build a custom image, run this like make with Ubuntu, like make image with Ubuntu 22, I think that's gonna be like pretty beneficial, so that people don't have to like search which specific Ubuntu 22 they need to pick, like.
I think instead of downgrade, if I'm understanding correctly, Andrew, you're suggesting to downgrade Argo CD.
Not for everyone. Just give an option to build a custom image for that.
Right. I guess maybe a good strategy here would be to provide some guidelines, some documentation type of guides to instruct people who faces those FIPS issues, how they should proceed with Argo CD, and then provide some step-by-step procedures on how they can build their own images, either downgrading to Ubuntu 22 or something else.
Okay, I'll take on this. Yeah, please assign the issue to me. I'll update the documentation based on these discussions and like some options.
Worth trying some other base images to see if that works nicely. I mean, it's going to be work for the long term.
Record for Verkada, sorry. It's like primary I'm using. Enrico.co is more like my personal account, but for now I'm just working from like company laptop because it's just more convenient, but mostly on my own time. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So Andrei, next one.
Yeah. I think it was briefly brought up on one of previous discussions, but like I think, okay, so to give TLDR, so sometimes in UI like rollout may be aborted, but it doesn't say specifically why, and it may be pretty hard to figure out what happened. And then some thoughts were like that maybe if Argo rollouts just doesn't provide enough information in status, maybe Argo CD cannot do that. So I cannot like display anything interesting. So I've been wondering like what we can do about this. Can we somehow enrich the rollout object and make some change to like Argo rollouts? Or is there still something we can do on Argo CD side? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I see you're not an issue. So there are custom health checks, but the question is whether actually there is enough info to deduce it from. Does anyone else have comments on this? Whether there is a workaround without changing on the rollout side?
Have you looked in the health check, Andrew, if there is a way for us to enrich the message returned back to Argo CD? Because that's the message Argo CD will be displaying when the application gets degraded.
Uh-huh.
In that health check is written in Lua. So basically we can grab information from the rollout state, live state, and populate that with a message. We can enrich the message. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good pointer. All right. I think we can like move this offline. I will take a look at that, and if not, I'll just open an issue for like or like go to Argo rollouts basically.
You already did, right?
Oh, already. Sorry, it's been some time ago. There's just too much stuff going on. Too many things I'm getting involved to. I need to slow down. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'll follow up with like Argo rollouts side if needed. But yeah, I think health check is something I definitely need to check and see if I can extract more information.
Okay. Okay. So let's go to the next.
It's been some time. From what I remember, this is about like can we log some information about who's logged in, but without like logging something sensitive, and basically like to make things more like actionable. So it's about just logging extra some metadata fields, and kind of what's our general policy on that.
What would you want to log? Like related that is not sensitive.
So something maybe like I don't know, IP address, then maybe like some information about the user. Like I don't know, maybe like if you can log in, like who's logged in, like maybe like some email or some token information. But I need a bit more guidance to see which fields from tokens are like actually okay, which are not. But I guess IP address should be safe, I think. Yeah. What do you think?
Michael, do you have any comments on that?
I had problems in the past persisting user information, especially in code running in Europe. There are some laws there that doesn't allow that to happen. So this was in the past, not related to Argo CD. So I'm wondering if we start adding, more user-specific data as part of our logs, we can face issues like that in the future. So it might be interesting to double check that.
I see. Do you know if like things like IP address are okay? Just like some very basic metadata.
I think IP address should be okay, but if you put the username or anything like email, then it starts to become a problem.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I agree. I'm not an expert on like GDPR or something, so I guess I think for that issue we probably can just like, you know, maybe log some minimal information, and or if we like, or if we cannot, just probably say that no, we're not gonna do it. Okay.
Yeah, I believe that for IPs, many times organizations that are more restricted, and they if they for some reason if the logs are going out of their systems, they're usually just whitening this with some mixed data. But yeah, it's better to check whether this is an option at all.
Oh, I see. So it sounds like that for if we like trying to see if like Argo CD like should implement this, and maybe the answer is like still no, even for IP address. Because yeah, some organizations might think that it's like not okay. Is that, am I understanding it right?
I'm saying that at least for organizations that I have previously worked in, when logs of any system, not related to Argo CD, but when logs of any system needed to be sent outside, then obviously we were required to not send the APs out. So there was some text whitening to change those APs.
Oh, I got it. Does it like apply to things like sending data to like say Datadog?
No, it was mostly for sending data to for support to external
Got it,
parties.
got it.
So
Okay. So we're potentially just making it a bit harder for people than now they need to do this like whitening of logs in some cases. I see.
yes, they would be required to do this whitening.
Okay, so maybe let's just comment that sorry, like yeah, we are not gonna like enhance this just because there are too many potential issues with that. I can I can go ahead and like comment later. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have more stuff to talk about, like just way too much, I guess. But is there anybody else who wants to bring up any other topic before I proceed? Okay.
I think we're good, and let's continue.
Yeah. So for secrets, so the issue I faced if the secret is managed with Argo, it can be great because like secret gets created if it's not there. However, if you just like if you set some fields manually for like data, it actually seems to like it might get like overwritten on next sync because Argo manifest would still have like an empty secret. So I think that we face this issue with like Argo rollouts, it seems. So I wonder, is there some like built-in mechanism for like Argo CD not overriding secrets like data, or is like using ignore differences on the application to like ignore differences on secret data a right way to go?
Sorry, could you repeat again the scenario?
Yeah. So like scenario. So we have a secret in manifests in GitHub. This secret is empty as we don't really want to store data in GitHub.
Yes.
Then we apply with Argo CD, and so it's managed by Argo CD. It creates the secret, which is great for like initial use case. You don't need to create the secret manually, and like this manifest basically guarantees that secret would be there. The problem is, however, if you might edit it manually to include some data, I think like, or I'm not 100% sure, but I think what would happen is like Argo CD would still override it with an empty secret because that's what's in the target manifest. So because like data is not in the target manifest.
No,
And
that shouldn't be the behavior, Andrew.
so it's actually not. So for secrets we have an exception, right?
No,
That's
it's
what
not
I
an
was saying.
exception on secrets. So Argo CD only cares about the fields present in the desired state. Argo
Yeah.
CD only manages those fields. When you apply the desired state from Git in Kubernetes, Argo CD will only have ownership on the fields defined in Git. If you go and manually add additional fields not specified in the desired state, like via kubectl, for example, Argo CD, this will be invisible to Argo CD. That's not going to be a diff
Okay.
or
Okay.
anything.
Okay. I see. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. Then yeah, I guess we just had the case when like for some reason secrets got emptied, and I don't fully know why. So I suspected maybe Argo CD did it for like, but sounds like it shouldn't be the case. So maybe there's been like some other reason. Okay. Thanks for confirming.
No problem.
Unless this resource got deleted and then recreated by Argo CD.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
Okay. So let's go to the next one.
Yeah. Change new pod emoji. Yeah, there's been a suggestion to like change it to something like from star, because star can be like ambiguous, to some form of like this plant. Yeah.
Oh, actually this is nice.
There is a little bit of like green on green, so we may need to do a bit of like tuning, maybe like add some like border of white color or something like that. I would defer to UI experts to like make final choice, but it sounds like it's a good thing, like because yeah, indeed star is used in like for various other contexts, and it's like not obvious that this is like a new pod.
Yes, actually I agree. Stars are more related from UX point of view to to favorites. Are there any other opinions on this?
Like social media and messaging apps, if there's a new message, a lot of times there's a little green or a little blue circle at the top right of like an inbox icon. That's a little problematic because it kind of indicates click here to see the new message. It doesn't really indicate this is a new element. But I think we should look around at other applications and try to find places where there's a UI design that's meant to indicate, hey, this is something new. And the green leaf icon, to me, that would be a very Argo CD specific thing. I've never seen that anywhere else.
Yeah, I agree. That would require at least a tooltip for me to understand what that means. So, read Michael.
I see.
Okay, so looks like we need to explore
Yeah.
other options. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, looks like Jason has added another thing. Let's go over that one first.
Yeah, we merged the GitHub Actions changes to GitOps engine. It looks like we need to add go mod tidy to the CI workflow. Otherwise, it won't be able to bring in any new versions. So,
Sorry, which one was it? Was it one of those three?
no, it's the new one at the bottom. It's duplicated now. I don't know why, but full 652. This one. So we merged the GitHub Actions PR. Well, that fired off the Dependabot config. So we have 3 new Dependabot PRs, and one of them's failing because go mod tidy needs to be in the CI workflow. So.
Someday soon, this will all be part of the Argo CD repo, and
yeah, someday.
Yeah.
Merged. Yeah, done.
Cool. Thank you.
I just had one question. Are we going to have an RC next week?
It seems next week still on time. I would ask the 2 weeks after that. That would be probably closer to the holidays. So is it your question, Ishita?
It's a question because I think
Yeah,
I
I
just have
mean,
to go back today, and it's 16th or 18th of December, so it's just a question.
as far as I know, Ryan plans to cut it Monday. I'm not aware of any pressing like feature PRs that we're trying to squeeze into, or think we can squeeze into 2.14. Like there's always features that we wish we could get in, but I want to get in one GitOps engine performance improvement and hopefully source hydrator. I don't see any reason why those can't be merged before Monday though, currently. And I'm not aware of any other features that people are trying to get in. So if you do want to get one in and want to delay the RC, definitely say something.
I think Leo was mentioning 2 weeks after. I'm not sure.
Sorry, I misunderstood your question, Nishita. Yeah, just consider that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I think we have Andre, there is something else, right?
Yeah, there is this label in open box, but let's move it to the next like meeting because it probably like warrants a bit longer discussion. But it's basically another attempt to like do something about managing stale issues. But like, so I labeled a lot of issues by like versions of stuff, but
Yes,
sometimes.
and thank you for that. Thank you for this work, Andre.
At the same time, it's like if, for example, somebody like filed a lot of issues and I would ask them, hey, is it still reproducible? Like it's going to be a frustrating experience for them, especially if they provided like some good reproduction steps. So honestly, I would be more like, hey, maybe we just like label some of recent issues, maybe in the last year with like existing versions. And then maybe we just like be honest and like admit that, yeah, it's like we have a lot of issues. We don't have enough people to cover all of that. That's just how it is. But I don't think we should like, for example, use bots because I feel like oftentimes people just shouldn't like fight bots. So we probably just do our best and like, yeah, keep labeling is can be important because like, yeah, we can then prioritize issues which like reproduce for like older versions. If we need to prioritize. But I usually try to go over like new issues, some oldest issues, and issues with most likes, just to make sure that like no specific like kind of issues gets ignored, and we hopefully get to like everything eventually. But yeah, that's just some like background on how I approached it. But yeah, it seems like it's a difficult problem. So just
I think we will continue. We'll probably continue the discussion around that. It is a complex problem, but thank you for those labels. I think they're valuable, and I've also started using them lately when I go over issues.
Oh, nice. Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So thanks everyone. Have a great rest of the day.
You too.
Thank you, Regina.
Thank
everyone.
you.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.